All right, so as Matt said, Rayna, welcome to the sports section. How's your summer going?
Thank you very much. My summer's going good, action packed in the beginning. And now I have a little bit of time, a little bit to myself and working out and getting prepared for the fall ball season coming up. And then obviously for the spring season.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, congratulations on completing your career with the women's lacrosse team at Stony Brook. We can pretty much say that the 4 seasons that you've had there from 2018 to this year, 2021, look like quite an accomplishment from you when you played both offense and defense. What could you say about everything that you've done as far as your contribution for the team?
First, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate all of that. And, playing at Stony Brook has been, the best years of my life. It's been an awesome ride. I've played with some of the best players. And now I'm about to go into my fifth year with leading the team and, playing not both sides of the ball. I don't know anymore, but it was definitely a good experience to be able to play both and, test that a little bit. But it's been really awesome. And I'm super glad that I've been able to have my college career here.
Yeah, Rayna, thanks for calling in. And I mean, it was an incredible 2021 season for you, but something where just going back a year ago, people in your position really weren't sure what was going to happen. Obviously, with the pandemic first hitting, canceling what was looking to be a pretty good 2020 season, to kind of take us back through from when the time when, the 2020 season was canceled, the uncertainty of everything, and just how you as an athlete were able to manage dealing with all of this, uncertainty of the future.
Right. It was definitely difficult. I know for, our team and for every other, team and person out there. But I remember coming out hot in the beginning of the season. We just beat Syracuse. We were on top of the world. And then, some of the season goes by. And then next thing you know, before we even know it, season's canceled. And we found out over Twitter. You know what I mean? So that was crazy. And then just having so much time, to ourselves, basically locked up in our homes. It was definitely difficult coming back to school. I'm sure it was a pretty big adjustment for everybody going from online and not going to school at all to then, being back in action. And the fall was different, but, schools, do what they needed to do in order to prevent COVID. Like that was the biggest thing. And I think Stony Brook did a great job of that. And I think that we had a really good productive fall last year. But yeah, it was definitely difficult adjusting and all of that stuff, but we came out of it and, we had a really good season.
So while you and the rest of your team were on lockdown last year during an extended offseason right before fall ball, since it didn't seem like you were able to be with your teammates in person, it seemed like the best way to be with them was virtually. How did you manage to keep in touch with them as far as work towards your own kind of training regimen, especially to keep the chemistry building between each other, even though you couldn't be there physically with each other?
We just did the best that we could in order to keep in touch, through our computers, through our phones, through Zoom. Zoom was a huge thing that we picked up, and we did a couple of big team Zooms, just check in on everybody, see how everyone was doing, and just a chit chat. It's nice to see everybody. It was nice to see everybody's faces and, see how everyone was doing. And, we were all bored. So it was like the highlight of our day to see everybody. And it was cool. So we did the best we could. We texted in group chats a lot more, tried to keep things fun. Definitely a little bit harder to build the chemistry that way, but we did what we could. And we did it the best that we could.
And with that, I mean, it was a big upcoming year for you last season, because again, as a senior coming in, really turning into now a leader of the team with all of the graduates over the past year or two, and especially for someone in that midfield defensive position, a lot of great names over just the past 2 or 3 years that you were part of the program, in those positions. So what was it like really adjusting to that leadership position on the team?
It was a little bit of adjustment at first, but I think that I had a lot of people and role models before me that helped pave the way for that. I had when I was, a freshman, the Kylies and the Courtney Murphys and then the Allies and Mackenzie Burns and all those great people that set the example, you know, helped me see how, like, what I wanted to be, how I wanted to be a captain, all of that good stuff. And I think that taking on more responsibility this upcoming year is exciting. I'm excited to, you know, take that role and, you know, help lead my team to somewhere that maybe we've never even been before.
Agreed. And for a lot of folks, especially listening in, a lot of young girls, whether starting out lacrosse, playing high school lacrosse, listening in, you know, they know the names, obviously, as you said, Kylie O'Miller, Courtney Murphy on the offensive end, Mackenzie Burns defensively. You know, they know how great these girls are. But someone being there on the field and off the field as well, can you kind of talk about how the greats like them really open up this game and kind of see what regular folks like myself and the rest of us on the call kind of don't really get being off the field?
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that these people, you know, do for us that we don't even see. You know, coach always like told us was to walk around with our eyes open, always watch what the people that are older than you that they're doing. So, you know, they're always setting the example, and that's something that I always wanted to do for, you know, my younger teammates. On the field, they're the ones to always pick you up. They're the ones that always, if you make a mistake, tell you to shake it off, just get the next one. They constantly build that confidence up, and they hold people accountable, which I think is really important. But at the same time, you know, that they're your teammates. They're always there for you. They're the people that are going to get you through every single day. They're going to, you know, be there for you. So I think it's super important, and it's a lot of things that people don't see, but it's definitely there.
So Rayna, this past season, when Haley Dillon was out for the remainder of the season after she suffered an injury against Boston University in the home opener, Joseph Molina made the decision to transfer you to what looked like a full-time role on the defense. You had a lots of experience. You had experience playing defense, and you had more time playing offense in your career. But what was it like for you with this major shift in your role on the team, as it was more of a conversion to seeing more time trying to keep opponents at bay?
I think it was really cool. Actually, it was a good experience, and it was a great opportunity for me to step in to a different role and like learn that position. At first, I was definitely, you know, nervous. I had never ever played in that position before, and I remember exactly when it happened. I was upset, and next thing I know, I was being thrown into the game playing backer for the first time in my life. But I thought it was, you know, like really cool to be able to step in and do that for my team, for my teammates, and, you know, my coaches, and try to like do my best to put out and play right at my best for my team. And it's a big role, but I'm glad that I was able to step in and help. And it was frustrating for a little while because at first I didn't feel like it was really clicking. I was getting, a little angry, but I remember one day in practice, I looked over at Coach Greg and I was like, Coach Greg, like, why? Like, I'm right there. Why am I not getting this? He goes, you're right there. It's going to click. You're right there. It's going to click. I'm like, all right. And then eventually it started to click more and more, and I started to string together better games. And after that, I just felt more confident. And I started to enjoy it a little bit more towards the end, for sure.
And we really saw how that confidence that you eventually established as a defender really came into fruition. You had a great line of stats with 32 ground ball pickups, 23 cause turnovers, 10 draw controls, and winning the Defensive Player of the Year in the American League East alongside UAlbany Clancy Rudy. How does that tell you about your transition from offense to defense going well?
Yeah, it was definitely really awesome, and it's something that I'm very, appreciative of. I think that I'm super proud of everything that happened. I never thought that it honestly would have. And it's just a really cool experience, the co-defensive player of the year. Of course, like it being something that's like I never, I'm proud of it, but it's something that it still gets me just a little bit. It's like that's the one thing for me. But that just gives me more motivation to be better.
And it's remarkable, really, because again, as you said, you weren't a backer, for your career up until that point. I mean, obviously, coming into the program, you were a midfielder, more of an attack front player, and obviously on the wing over the past couple of years, and then now transitioning to the back. And you talk about your shoulders at first, obviously, but at the same time, where did you really find that you were able to make it click and realize that this is a role that you'll be able to really succeed in?
Honestly, it was a lot of help from my teammates and from my coaches. They always helped me give that little boost. They were always helping me, whether it was in practice, in a game. I was getting coached from the sidelines. Haley too. Haley was always, giving me pointers and stuff in games and practice. And without them, it wouldn't have happened, to be honest. But they were a really big help. They always boosted me up and told me I'm right there. They told me that, like I'm going to get it. It's going to happen. And they were always, very confidence boosting. And they also made me, push harder in practice to get those balls, to get those interceptions and everything like that. So they were a really big help in that part.
Yeah, it was a really strong back. Obviously, yourself, Cindy Gagnon was a veteran player. Think of that defense leading the way. Julia Markey, of course, playing right alongside you. But someone who I think really wowed a lot of us, along with yourself, was someone in Claire Levy, who, in a sense, almost took your offensive role in a sense to where she became that two-way player that not a lot of people, I think, really predicted she would, especially just coming out of, I think, her first full season, or rather this being her first full season.
Yeah, Claire is awesome. She's super fast. She's aggressive. She gets out on ball, like great feet. And for a freshman, she came in and she wasn't afraid. She stepped in that spot and she made it hers, basically. And I'm really proud of her. She's somebody that I've grown like a great relationship with on and off the field. And she's someone that I'm excited to see how she develops as a player as time goes on.
Yeah, I think we all could agree. She's really going to be a vocal point of that attacking front next season. Obviously, seeing a couple of legends, future Hall of Famers in Terrell Miller, Allie Kennedy graduating, at least for me, I think the door's open for that next player to really burst on the seams. And I think she's got to be a front runner to really capitalize on that opening.
Yeah, I definitely think that she's going to, as the years go by and as time goes by, she's going to really step up and she's going to be somebody who has a really, really big impact on the team for sure.
Yeah, you see a lot of impact, and especially with what the future looks like. And it appears like Siobhan Rafferty could also be a part of that, especially for next season. And you got to say, it was really quite a blessing to see Siobhan Rafferty finally come back this season after she couldn't play during the shortened season last year due to that ACL injury that she sustained during fall. How relieved and how did you feel it was very important for her to be fully healthy once again?
Yeah, Siobhan is one of our best two-way midfielders. She could run forever, and it stunk. She's a great person, and to see her go down with such a terrible injury that takes a while to get back, it stings a little bit. But she was motivated. She crushed her rehab, and seeing her back on the field was relieving. She's awesome. So I'm super happy, and she's also another person who has such a huge impact on the team.
Yeah, I think something really cool, especially about the position you're in now, rather, is just seeing how you and your teammates and really your classmates like Siobhan Rafferty, Haley Dillon, Jesse Arline was off the top of my head, really grown and taking big roles on this team. We're coming in all as freshmen. Everyone was really fighting for a spot on a team where literally anyone could take a leadership role or take a really dominating role. How fun has it been really establishing you and your classmates as yourselves as leaders over the past couple of seasons?
Yeah, over the past couple of seasons, as you grow and as you get older, you automatically fill those leading positions, and sometimes you don't even know it. Now we're the fifth years, as which is really weird to say, but now we're the example. We're the people that are leading the team. We're the ones that are, pushing our teammates to do their best, showing them the ropes. So I think it's really cool. And obviously, as the years go by, opportunities open. And I think that now, it's our time to lead the team, and it's our time make an impact and be a really strong and sturdy senior class.
So you're definitely confirming you are coming back for the 2022 spring season. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
All right, good, because we saw that you were a senior, but it seems like you're allowed to use that fifth year of eligibility because of COVID and the shortened 2020 season.
Yep, COVID allowed all of us to come back for that year and follow up on that unfinished business. So we're excited for that.
Yeah, and that unfinished business was really the understatement for Ali Kennedy and Taryn Miller. Just a few weeks after COVID shut down 2020, they proclaimed they would come back for a 5th year. And you knew, like everybody else, Joe Spallina and the rest of the squad knew that their return would be huge to keep this team at a high level that they really made an example of this past season. Like, it was really big. And what was your reaction, your first reaction to when you found out that they said they were coming back?
I was so excited to coming back, and honestly, it didn't surprise me at all. I know the type of people that they are, and I know that they're not the type of people to just leave their college careers open-ended like that. They want to write their own ending. They want to finish what they started. So I was really excited to have another year with them, because that year really stunk with COVID cutting our season short. I remember us all sitting, in the gym. Sean was talking to us, and the next thing you know, our whole season's canceled. And, there were tears. The seniors were so upset. We didn't know what was going to happen. But then hearing that they were going to come back just honestly was a big relief and a big gas of excitement for sure.
Yeah, and again, the season as well, where you're just going back even further to your first 2 seasons as an underclassman, where, freshman year, you really can't get any better than perfect. 18-0 ultimately until the final loss there. And then the following year, the team, it has a poor season by Stony Brook standards, still amongst the top 20 best, top 15 best programs in the nation, going 16-5. And that cut 2020 season, did you really feel like your team was close to reaching that peak they hit back in your freshman season?
I think it could have been, and I think we're the type of team that gets better throughout the season. Like I said earlier, we came out hot when we first played Syracuse. We beat them by 1, and it was a great game, and it showed all of us what our potential could have been. And unfortunately, that was cut short, but that just gave us more motivation to come out even better for this past season.
Yeah, and you're a big reason for that win as well, if that draw control in the last minute, helping Stony Brook ice out the clock of that 17-60 win. Can I just talk about that? Because I know that's one of yours and a lot of your teams as well, kind of greatest memories playing for Stony Brook, was that whole lead up, just going Syracuse, all the pressure there, being the primetime game to open up the 2020 season.
Oh, it was by far my best memory of playing for the lacrosse team. I remember coming out, we came out slow, and we were down by, I believe, like 4 or maybe even 5. And then we came back, and at halftime it was tied. We went into the locker room was like a energy that was completely unmatched. Everyone was so excited, and you could just tell that everybody who was playing on the field, who was on the sideline, coaches, doesn't even matter. The fans, our fans even too, were just completely, so excited. You could just tell that the energy was great and that we were going to come out and do everything we could to win. And that was a game that was unforgettable for sure. And at the end, I remember they started making a comeback, and I remember lining up on the draw circle, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, if this comes to me right now and I don't get it, that could be a problem. And I remember it going up, and I remember catching it and running, and I actually believe I screamed when I got the ball. I was that excited.
Energy.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I gotta say, you gotta put that down as one of your favorite memories playing with Stony Brook by far. But that's not so best, because also I gotta imagine one of your favorite memories, one of your finest performances so far of your career was back in the 2019 tournament. You guys went to Maryland, played against James Madison, round 1, low scoring, game went to overtime, and it was because of you that Nicole Beretta was able to cash in on that game-winning goal against Molly Doherty. What was that moment like for you, being able to spot Beretta wide open while Spallina was saying to her, finish it off?
No, it was really awesome. I remember we came out of that timeout. I remember if it was a timeout or as soon as the game ended and we went to go into overtime, we had this plan to run a play. And I believe I'm the one who actually messed it up. So it was good that I was able to make up for it. But I remember the ball swinging super fast, and JMU plays a zone. So Allie Kennedy went to she stepped in, two people slid to her. I was just the next pass. I look around, peek in the 8, and I see Nicole Beretta coming from that elbow, and I just hit her there. And, that was a cut that she was really good at, and she was a great finisher. So I was confident that she was going to, throw that right in the cage. And that was really exciting too. That was definitely one of my top moments as well as my time playing at Stony Brook.
And it's an awesome moment too, as not only as commentators, but just fans. Obviously, again, a season where by Spalina standards, you're underperforming, but you're really not. But, there's a season where really a lot of teams and analysts would have overlooked Stony Brook. And I thought you were able to send a final message that, hey, you really don't want to overlook this team, because as you proved against Syracuse, this team has not only the potential, but the power to really take on and beat virtually anyone.
Right. And I think we have our team has I think that we're a very blue collar team, and I think that we aren't afraid to play anybody. Really, we're ready for the challenge. We're ready to take it up, and we're going to go out and play our hardest in every game.
Well, I think another thing too is just the versatility on both ends. So quickly, I think this first off defense, in the sense of where this team really runs a lot of zone, pattern zone defense, and more often than not, especially in conference play, it works to perfection. What is that training process like for you, and really what is it you guys or you girls focus on the most in terms of doubling up or playing zone defenses on both edges of the wing?
During practice we focus a lot on ball defense, on ground balls, but nothing really happens if you don't fly out to the ball, if you don't pressure, if you don't sell out on defense. One of coach's biggest things is selling out on defense. If you can't play defense, you can't play offense. If you can't play defense, then you can't play. That's one of his biggest things. So it's really just a big effort thing on defense and going all out and getting out on the ball. We try to work a lot on, the ground balls and being in the right place and our angles. And but pressure is one of our key components in that defense.
Yeah, that's something you did very well. Obviously, the amount of calls, turnovers, and ground balls you were able to scoop up last season. And really, I thought, especially in terms of your stick checking and ability, again, to really force the turnovers. Is that something where you really see that aided by that zone defense?
Yeah, that's something that, I didn't pick up on really early. It's something that I had to, grow into. It's something that I had to learn. I needed to learn how to be in the right place at the right time. I needed to learn the ins and outs. But towards the end, every time that did happen, it was a really good feeling to know that, I just, made that play. It was something that it's very rewarding to know that you just cause a turnover. And
yeah, more
cool.
often than not leading to a goal on the other end. Again, your talented offense. And it's something that really surprised me was the freedom that you girls have on offense. For those that don't know, Josephina, you guys have plays and goals obviously on the attack, but outside of that patented 5-2 motion offense, there's really not too much else being told to you girls to run other than score. So you kind of talk about that on the offensive front to where you can really do anything on that attack.
Right. So our offense is we don't really have plays. That's something that coach is not big on. He likes to just run a motion, pass and cut, always moving. The ball has to move fast. The people need to move fast. And, when the ball moves fast and you're, causing slides and you're causing double teams, and you could easily dump the ball to the open girl, those are easies. He always say to play through the layup. So that's something that, we try to focus on. It's something that we try to do is zip the ball around and, draw those girls and dump for an easy goal. But yeah, please, not not too many of them here at Stony Brook.
Which again, it's really incredible for me because often you're a top 5, top 10 scoring program. I mean, can you just really speak about the playmakers you girls have had? Again, Allie Kennedy, Taryn O'Miller, obviously Kylie, Courtney in the past couple of years, yourself, and even those rising stars in Siobhan Rafferty, Sarah Pulis, Kaylin Hart, Claire Levy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the Kylies, the Murphs, and even like the Alleys, they paved the way for us now. People are stepping into those roles. Hart is going to be a junior now. She's been that lefty there, and she's been doing a great job. Sarah, being that midfielder, she's very dynamic. She could do a lot of things, and she's going to have a big impact. Siobhan, great off ball. She's also a key component in that offense. She gets open, and she knows how to work and get other people open as well, which is a big thing, is create offense for other people. So people are, stepping into those roles, but everybody, when they do their part, it creates something that's really awesome team offense. And it's something that's, a lot harder to defend than just here, you take the ball and you go. So that's something that we like to focus on a lot.
Yeah. So with the next season coming up and fall ball happening soon, after the time that you spent on defense throughout this past season, do you expect to go back to offense, or are you expecting to stay with defense?
I'm kind of just planning on going with the flow. I think whatever is best for the team is, something that I like to do. I'm not really, expecting too much. I'm not going to expect to be put in one place and then not in the other. I'm just going to prepare for whatever and be ready for whatever comes at me. And either or, I'm going to be content on doing what's best for the team.
And that this team is maybe looking a little different this next season, because now Taryn Miller, Allie Kennedy are gone. Kaylee Huff is gone. You see some big playmakers from last season graduating completely. But as you just said, we are probably going to be seeing another look this upcoming season of players that has some good playing time, some good looks with their scoring, learning a lot from players like you. So what do you expect from these players getting more of a major impact in 2022?
Yeah, so players that maybe didn't play as much or as they like to, over the summer, they're working to get those spots and they're working to fill those gaps. So as Taryn and Allie, leave their part, like leave in the offense, which stinks. Obviously, we'd love to have them back, but now, that's inevitable. It's time for the next person to step up. So I think that people need to fill those roles. They need to step up, and, they're big responsibilities, but everybody now needs to do a little bit more to play their part in the offense and then make a really good team offense.
Yeah, Joe Spallina really does trust him. And back in May, we saw it an hour ago, right as the postseason began, which is how Stony Brook, even though they are not a Power 5 school really, they have been able to draw some players that apparently has been known to be overlooked by high-level programs like North Carolina and Syracuse. That just says a lot of how Joe Spallina has taken a risk in being able to recruit top players like you. How do you feel like that shows just how confident and how much trust he puts into players like you that apparently do appear to have that type of capability to play for those high-level programs?
Right. So, there's a lot of us on the team that did not get looks from higher level schools at all. I know I didn't, and I know that I wanted to commit to Stony Brook while I was in coach's office on my visit. He trusts his players, he has faith in his players, and he makes it known that he's confident in you and that you're going to play to the best of your ability, and he's going to help make you the best version of yourself. So yeah, a lot of us were underlooked, but now we're on a team that's, very blue collar, that we play for each other, which is another huge thing that makes us as good as we are. And we trust each other, coaches, teammates, player, everything. So that's something that's really important. And knowing that your coach trusts you and, has a confidence in you to be, the best version of yourself and be a great player is something that's really awesome and great to know and a really good feeling.
Yeah, and something some listeners may not be aware of is that obviously that relationship with Spallina, you'd say was there even before, coming to Stony Brook, of course, playing ball with the Yellow Jackets of Long Island, and of course being a Mount Sinai product. Obviously, a lot of local eyes, were there watching your games and your evolution as a player. So you kind of talk about, the first time you met up with Coach Spallina and just how you two have continued to grow in that professional environment.
Right. So, Coach Spallina is from Long Island. He's a local guy. So I'm right in Mount Sinai. So he always, was able to come to games and watch me play and all that good stuff. So it's something that, right off the bat, I knew that we were compatible in that way. And I guess the vibe that he gave off was something that is very similar in my own home, which I really liked. It was his work ethic, his attitude, his outlook on things. So that's something that I enjoyed a lot as well. So yeah, I definitely had a relationship with him coming into Stony Brook. And then my freshman year, I got more comfortable with him and, building that relationship and that trust with him. He trusts me, I trust him. So it's something that's definitely important, is that player-coach relationship, or coach-player. And it's definitely building and still building. It's really good to have that relationship.
And I think it's also been somewhat of a testament for really your consistent presence in the lineup, because even as a freshman, you're still playing, 20 games a season, as you did sophomore year. Take out the Bridge 2020 season, and you're playing virtually every game, 20 plus games a season, and producing well. I mean, you can really tell that system that you were brought up on, obviously here in local ball, was really successful in the collegiate level as well.
Yeah, thank you. Freshman year, it was really awesome to be on the field when we were, number one in the country, and I was playing with some of the best NCAA record holders, and my captains at the time. It was really cool to be able to learn from them and play with them, something that's a real experience and not a lot of people say that they were or able to do. So I'm really grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah, so being put into a situation immediately like that, where your team, Stony Brook, is really somebody that is looking like they are one of those top contenders to win it all. Just how do you feel that helped you gain so much experience in Joe Spallina's squad and players like Kylie O'Miller and Courtney Murphy that influenced you to be almost that same level?
Yeah, they definitely influenced me a lot of ways. That's when I was younger and I was a freshman and I looked at them, I knew that I wanted to be exactly like them. I knew that I wanted to grow and I wanted to be one day a leader of the team, which I honestly had never even been before. And I wanted to go somewhere that we had never been before. And each and every year we're getting closer and closer. And it's really exciting. But the influence that they have definitely carries on through me. And watching them lead and watching them play, I still take, I took mental notes basically, and I was able to, take what they did. And now I'm implementing that into, my leading and my playing. So it's really cool to have had them as the example for me.
Yeah, and it's cool as well because obviously it shows your success on the field for Stony Brook, but even outside of Stony Brook, you were one of 36 players to be called on to represent the United States for the training camp earlier this summer. What was it like being a part of that training camp with some of the other best lacrosse players in the nation back in early July?
Yeah, that's an absolute honor. It's a once in a lifetime, experience, and something that I never saw myself doing before. And I remember going there and I was a little bit shell shocked. It's, seeing some of the best players in the world and currently and in the past. So playing with those people was really amazing, and getting to know them, as people instead of just watching them on TV, seeing them as players. But putting on that jersey and having the USA across my chest is something that's, amazing. It's something that I'm super proud to do, and it's a complete honor. And I'm just really happy that I got that opportunity.
And you're playing along those stars. The Kylie O'Miller and Allie Kennedy playing stars recently in the Athletes Unlimited Pro Lacrosse League that has just been established. Last weekend, Kylie O'Miller was the captain of a team that was perfect, 3-0, and this weekend she's playing alongside the captain that looks like one of them is Kayla Trainer. just how proud are you to see your former teammates be able to play at a pro level like that, hoping that one day you could be a part of it?
Yeah, I'm really, really, really proud of both of them. It's amazing to see them doing so well past college because they're great people and they work so hard and they were really great players, period. So having the relationship with them and just seeing them, I'm like, I know them on TV, and like it's like really cool, and I'm super proud of them having such an impact, not on the sport but just on people everywhere, on little girls, like being an influence for them, a positive influence, and it's just really cool, and I'm happy to call them my friends.
And it's a great point because if you talk about just growing up, the presence of lacrosse in your life compared to where it is today.
Yeah, lacrosse, in my, past experiences, it was really cool. I grew up in a high school that was pretty, profound in lacrosse, 3 consecutive state championships. It was really cool. And it was something that really prepared me for my college career. And I think that I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't, play for the program that I played for and all that stuff. So I'm really happy to have been able to play with some of the best in high school, like the Sydney Parecas and the Shayna Pareca. And it's just really cool. And I wouldn't be where I am today if that didn't happen.
I was going to say another great coach as well. They're back at Mount Sinai for Albert Bertolone. Just talk about playing. We do midfield and defense there. Just his coaching style as well, compared with Coach Bellino's.
Right. He's definitely a tough coach, but he prepared me for what was to come, and he made me, a better player, and he made me more coachable, and he made me a better person. And when I was younger in high school, I played defense to start, and I started to play midfield, and I was actually recruited to Stony Brook as a defender. So it's funny how things come full circle. But
right.
Yeah, he was a really, really good coach. He led us to all those state championships and prepared me for Stony Brook and helped shape me into who I am today.
You're going to talk about 2 intimidating people, Coach Bertolone and Coach Bellino. Obviously, if you're standing across from them on the field, those are 2 people you not want to make mad because they, firsthand as well. But again, it comes with the successes they bring. Obviously, the trio of titles you won at Mount Sinai and 4 straight titles you won in the America East for under Coach Bellino, rather.
Right. So they definitely have their specific ways of coaching and have different coaching styles, but I think that is very productive. I think that they get results, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. I think that coaching style is made for me pretty much. I don't think I would do as good as I did without people pushing me the entire way. And I'm actually really appreciative that they push us to be the best. And that's the only reason why they do what they do and how they do it.
Agreed. And you see at the top level of lacrosse as well, nationally, Joe Spallina, assistant coach for Team USA. And because just on that topic, the Olympics are going on now, and lacrosse is looking to be the next sport accepted into the Olympic committees starting in 2022. How exciting is that to really see the game grow to where likely starting next Olympics, there's going to be lacrosse on TV every day as an Olympic sport.
Right. That is so exciting to see how much the sport has grown, how far it's come. And, it's just crazy to finally get to where it's going to be. For so long, it's been a sport that, has been underlooked, but now it's growing more and more everywhere. Long Island's usually the hot spot of lacrosse and is the hot spot of lacrosse, but now it's growing nationwide, worldwide, and it's going to be represented in the Olympics, and countries all over the world are going to be participating. It's going to be awesome. And I think that is really exciting to finally see it in the Olympics.
Yeah, and speaking of the progress of lacrosse, especially here in this country, with the 2022 season up next, we heard that a few weeks ago there were some rule changes for the next women's lacrosse season. It's going to be just like in men's lacrosse, where they're going to have 15-minute quarters, so there will be more breaks during the games, along with the shot clock being reset to 60. How do you feel about these changes and how this could probably make the competition in women's lacrosse look different.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to make the competition a lot more intense. It's going to speed up the pace of the game by a lot with that shot clock reset, with the 4 quarters. That's something that actually at US training camp, we played a scrimmage, and that was the format of the scrimmage. It was 4 5 quarters. And, it's sped up the game a lot, I feel like. And it gives you that little break in between. But at the same time, it's going to change the game a lot. It's going to change the pace. It's going to change the outcomes of games. And I think it's going to have a real big impact, but it's going to be more exciting to watch for sure.
So let me get a question in. Because you just set up a really good one here. Will these rule changes help your style of play, your team's style of play? Could this help you get deeper into the playoffs or, advance any further than previous teams have?
I think so for sure. I think at Stony Brook, one of our things is playing super fast and playing really aggressive. And I think speeding up the game, honestly, would be used to our advantage. We put a lot of emphasis on, our conditioning and our strength and our speed and all of that good stuff. So having a change that honestly works in our favor, is going to be cool. And I think that we're going to do really good in that aspect.
In previous years...
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Go ahead, Zach.
Okay, yeah. So what I was going to say is that Stony Brook over the last few years have had some really interesting methods for how they practice. And when you first came into Stony Brook in 2018, the first one was that their first practice of the season began at midnight. What was it like for you when apparently that happened?
It was really cool to be the first team, out on the field, in the nation practicing at 12 o'clock as soon as that day hit that we were able to practice. I remember running out of the tunnel and just seeing, all of our parents and even some fans out there that came to watch practice. And I thought it was really cool to be a part of the experience, with people and, to get a midnight practice in, that's really like unheard of. So I think it was a really cool experience to have.
Right, so Matt, you were going to say something next?
Got to make sure my mic is up and unmute here. Okay, here we go. Okay. Going back to the rule changes and how they suit the game, your game now. Previous years, you get to the NCAA tournament and you run into a BC, you run into a Maryland. What are the adjustments that your team has been trying to make to set yourself up, put yourself in a better position to take on schools like that and just break through finally to the Final Four, national championship? Because obviously that's been the goal from the beginning. And Stony Brook has reached a certain point, and it's a huge hurdle to get over. But what are you guys trying to do now to break through that?
I think that we get closer and closer each year. I think that we, during those games, we come out with an unmatched energy. Like this past one in North Carolina, we came out fast, we came out strong, we held them, and obviously the outcome didn't come our way. But we try to, there's really no specific change to our game. We try sometimes to, on offense, maybe focus a little bit more on one player, focus more on the quarterback, and keep an eye on this player. But other than that, we just do us, basically. So there's nothing that's really changed. We just stick to our roots, and we do what we do best and play super hard.
Do you think the growth and experience that you've had, you just being in those situations over and over again, will eventually help you get past them? You get North Carolina or BC or Maryland or any other big opponents?
Definitely, because now playing in those games, we know what that pressure feels like. We know what to expect. We know the pace of the game. Being in those situations prepares us for future situations. And I think that's important to have that experience. And I think that getting closer and closer and playing in those games really helps us inch towards our goal.
Considering that you're now staying an extra year, but Allie and Taryn stay an extra year, everybody was pushing toward the unfinished business, as was expressed earlier. Mm-hmm. What do you think the feeling will be for all, not just for your current team, but for everybody who came before you, if the team finally does finish the business?
I think that they're going to be really proud. You know, those people are the people that paved the path for us. So I think that they're going to be super proud. I think they're going to be very happy that they helped really get us to where we were today, because, you know, Stony Brook when Stony Brook was D1 to start, we were at the bottom of the barrel, like not ranked, not even close to where we are today. So they really helped build us up, and they helped get us to where, you know, we are right now, and they would help us get to where we hope to be in the future. So I think that they would be really happy for us, maybe a little jealous, but, you know, definitely more so proud of us and super happy that we got there.
Yeah. What kind of a party is homecoming going to be like with some of the alumni? Actually, that's a feminine form of alumna, and plural alumni. And how many of them you're going to be running into at homecoming, and what kind of a celebration is that going to be?
I run into quite a few of them. You know, they usually on homecoming we play a couple fall ball games, and they come to watch, and then they come for the football game and all that stuff. So it's fun, definitely seeing everybody outside of lacrosse and alumni that, you know, you haven't seen in a while. So it's definitely fun. It's exciting and all that good stuff for sure.
So also with next season coming up soon, we talked about the talent that Stony Brook has for 2022, but there's going to be a lot of competition as well in the nation that you may have to face. It could be Boston College that's bringing back one of the best players. That could be one of the best and probably a front runner for the Tewaaraton Award next year in Charlotte North. Mm-hmm. You also get Emily Harrischuk, who missed this season due to an injury before Syracuse defeated you guys. And you also get Izzy Skane, who looks very phenomenal for Northwestern, if I'm not mistaken. And North Carolina is probably going to get some more talent as well, like Caitlin Wurzberger, to keep some things in perspective. How much do you welcome this competition for 2022, especially if you had the chance to play against these elite players?
Yeah, you know, we welcome it, and then we run straight towards it. It's not something that we like to defer from. It's a challenge that we always like to take on, and, you know, we don't shy away from. You know, playing against those players, you know, people can be intimidated, but at the same time, you know, you play intimidated, then usually you don't get the outcome that you're wanting for. So it's something that you almost have to disregard. You don't care who you're going up against. You kind of just have to play your best and determine the outcome that way, but you almost can't shy away from that.
So going back to this past season with the NCAA tournament, you were selected as the 8th seed. Your first opponent was the Towson Tigers, who you played a very close match up against back in March.
Yep.
And you also played Rutgers in round 2. Because of your seeding, many people believe that you were the national seed that would probably have the toughest time to get past that first weekend. But despite being called that, you managed to bust through well, taking advantage of Towson without one of their top players, and being able to take down a Rutgers team that saw round 2 for the first time in school history by putting up the team's first 20 burger since 2017, which was, of course, the year before you came. So how did you see your team doing well successfully, both offensive and defensive, against Rutgers and Towson?
Yeah, those were 2 really exciting games. But coach would tell us all the time, and it's something that is very true, is that we were the team that was going to be completely different at the end of the season than we were in the beginning. So we had all that time to grow, all that time to work hard and get better. So when we came back for that game, and then, you know, we crushed Towson. Like in the beginning of the year, we only won by 2. And Rutgers was a really exciting game, a lot of, you know, fun energy. And we just had a lot of fun on the field that day. So it was just really cool to crush those 2 games and be able to get down to North Carolina after that.
Oh, yeah. So, what was I?
Yeah, I feel bad for those American East teams next season, just because with the abridged shot clock and just the motivation that this Stony Brook team has coming for the upcoming season. I mean, y'all girls averaged about 19 goals a game against your conference competition already. I mean, how many 20-goal games do you anticipate Stony Brook having against the American East competition?
A lot, if not all of them.
All those UMass Lowell games. Oh,
Short.
boy.
Well, I mean, like, the only way those 20-goal games will happen is if your team is up by so much. And usually you would hit the 20-goal mark when the backup players are in. And that just shows you just how dominant this team has always been. Like, Stony Brook has not lost an America East game at all since 2014. It goes back way far like that. It's just shows you that Stony Brook may even deserve to be part of a conference that's even bigger than the America East. What do you do you agree with that?
It's a really good question. I actually think that everyone love, more competition, but kind of hard to say. We like our conference, but to get out there and be able to, play some different teams and really, build that those points, the RPI points that, help us in the NCAA brackets and stuff like that would really help. So, yeah, competition would be nice, but we just like to, keep winning those conference games and keep getting better.
Okay, so you got about 3 weeks before the fall semester begins, and you have any plans in the short term to enjoy the summer a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. After working for union camp and stuff like that, I had time off, and now I'm back in full training mode, getting ready for lacrosse. And honestly, I like it that way. It keeps me busy. It keeps me in shape. It keeps me, fit. So it's something that I enjoy. And yeah, I'm excited to get back to it.